Hello friends, welcome to my first tips and tricks channel on my video. These are my top 5 tips to be the best PvP sorcerer or sage healer on your server in 7.0. The last tip on this list is very critical, so stick around for that. Let's get to it. Tip number 1, know your abilities. Now this should be obvious, but make sure you know what each of your abilities actually do. I will be making an ability and a tree rundown very soon, so stay tuned for that. Most of your abilities are going to do more than just heal, so having awareness of what those things are will allow you to make better decisions of what ability to do and when. Tip number 2, don't be a clicker. Don't do that. Make sure your abilities are on your toolbar and you key map them to comfortable positions for you to use. I use R, F, V for my force speed, T for my stun, or Shift T for my interrupt. I've got my mouse wheel click, and that's my recklessness. And I got 2 extra buttons on my mouse that do other things. With all those buttons, I just add Shift in front of them, and that'll give me plenty of buttons to work with so that I don't have to click anything on the screen if I really wanted to. It's okay if you have 1 or 2 abilities that you manually click, like defensive or offensive cooldowns, but do your best to map all your abilities out and practice using them. I promise it will start to feel normal and your gameplay will skyrocket. Tip number 3, set up operations frames. When you join an ops group, like in a warzone or arena, your team looks different than the traditional grouping. If you go to the Open Quick UI customization menu, right down here on your toolbar, click the Open Interface Editor at the bottom of the list. On the overlay, click the Operation Frames window. Here you can edit the size and placement of your entire team's health bars. You can even adjust the size of the debuffs. If, for whatever reason, your operations frames are not showing up, make sure that this is checked, enabled right here, and you should be able to see it whenever you're in an ops group. So make sure that's enabled if you're not seeing it. I recommend scrolling down and turning up the debuff scale to around 0.35 or so, and then scroll down further to health width to about 90, and health height to about 24. I like them big and obvious. Now you can easily click any team member's health bar and have a good grasp on everyone's health levels and their debuffs. Bonus tip, use your purge. For Sorcerer, it's expunge. Make sure you use it on teammates that have buffs, or dots on them. And just doing this alone will set you apart from the rest of the healers. Tip number 4, be the eyes and voice of your team. Basically, just focus on the objectives of the war zone. Since you don't have to look around and chase as much as your DPS and tanks do, that frees you up to watch objectives like the Void Star doors, Civil War caps, etc, etc. Bonus tip, make sure you have your damage abilities key mapped too, so that you're able to actually stop people from capping objectives. Your dots will not stop a cap, so you'll want to use like Shock or Force Lightning or Force Storm. You'll want to use one of those. Throwing Affliction on them is not going to do anything. To be the voice, I like to type in ops chat at the beginning of the game a general strategy that the team should follow for the game. This gives newer players or even veterans something for the team to rally behind and gets everyone sort of at least on somewhat of a same page. Yes, you will get trolls who do not care, but call out a general strategy anyway. You'll find that you'll start to win more games. Tip number 5. Now this is the big game changer that'll make you so annoying to deal with as a healer. Utilize line of sight and never stop moving unless absolutely necessary to get some bigger heals off. Line of sight is king in this game. Always try to have some sort of wall between you and the enemy team. This prevents the enemy from being able to target you, freeing you up to free cast your abilities when they try to attack your teammates. Eventually, the enemy may catch on, but don't panic. Stun them or knock them back and force speed across the room behind another wall or object. 7 out of 10 times, that enemy will move on to another target. Then you just rinse and repeat. If you get particularly annoying people who chase you around everywhere, try your best to just keep moving and healing. Bonus tip, don't forget your damage reduction and self-heals, like these right here. Don't forget those. Cloud Mind, It doesn't just reduce threat, it also gives you a 25% damage reduction for 6 seconds. Easy to overlook. Very clutch. Polarity shift, 20% alacrity and immunity to pushback and interruptions for 10 seconds. That's a very long time, especially in hut ball or any sort of thing where you have to carry the ball or survive just to get a couple more heals off so your team can get there, pick you back up. Also very clutch, not being able to be moved around at all for 10 seconds. Use your self heal on cooldown when you need it, since it costs literally no force. It saves you from spamming your own heals on yourself. It doesn't give you all that much HP, but if you use it on cooldown, it'll add up a lot over time. So as soon as you get around to about 80% health or so, I would just go ahead and throw this off. So that way it's on cooldown and you're maximizing the time that you can when you're using it. Use your PvP consumables. I see a lot of people forgetting about these or fearing that you're gonna run out of them. You get them after like every single war zone. So just use them. You're gonna have plenty of them. Don't worry about it. I use probably about 10 every single round, and I just keep getting more and more and more. So don't be afraid to use these. The Adrenal is a 15% damage reduction on top of the 25%. So that's 40% damage reduction for a solid 6 seconds. You're taking almost half the damage. Really huge, really clutch. Great survivability. And pairing that with the med pack, that'll give you a second to be able to heal yourself up. Your polarity shift, not being able to be interrupted, you can heal yourself up like crazy while they're all jumping on you. You could survive an incredible amount of time. You can have up to 3 to 4 people focusing you, but if you stack these abilities and consumables right, you can survive long enough to either get away so you can get into another line of sight opportunity, or your team will actually be able to respawn or get over to you to help you out. A little extra advice on tip 5 right here. Make sure when you're trying to line of sight, you throw off of your big overload pushback, because that not only knocks them back, but it'll root them in place for about 3 seconds. So that'll give you time to be able to force run behind something so that you can get over here so you can start throwing off your own heals to heal yourself up. And then they're gonna have to run all the way over here, and they're gonna have to get right about right here before they can even attack you again. So that'll give you even extra time to be able to get all your big heals off. Thank you for watching this tips and tricks video, my first one on this channel. If you enjoyed it, like and subscribe. I'll be making more. My ability tree rundown and all of my abilities rundown will be coming out very soon, specifically for sorcerers, but it all translates over to sages as well. It might already be out, so you'll find it on my channel. Peace.